Open-source intelligence and consumer genealogy tools put powerful capabilities in ordinary hands. With a few clicks, we can map a person's digital traces, follow a story across public records, and compare genetic segments to distant relatives. These tools can help when used well, and they can harm when curiosity outruns consent. In this season finale, we talk about where the lines should be. We will focus on principles you can apply immediately, short hypotheticals with safe responses, and a checklist for doing OSINT and genealogy work without causing collateral damage. We will keep language neutral and avoid identifying private individuals. First, a shared definition. OSINT means gathering and analyzing information from publicly accessible sources, government filings, court records, business registries, news archives, social platforms, satellite imagery, and more. Genealogy includes family history built from documents and sometimes consumer DNA services that allow relative matching. Neither practice is inherently unethical. The question is how we handle consent, accuracy, proportionality, and downstream risk. Principle 1. Necessity and proportionality. Ask whether a search is necessary to achieve a legitimate aim, journalism in the public interest, academic research with oversight, or a safety concern where risk is concrete. If the purpose is curiosity about a private person, pause. Even when a goal is legitimate, use the least intrusive method that works. If a company address will do not dig into family members. If a professional email suffices, do not scrape a decade of social posts. Power should be used with restraint. Principle 2. Consent and context. When you gather information that touches living people, imagine the moment they see your work. Would it surprise, embarrass, or endanger them? Could it expose private details, home addresses, children's schools, medical issues that are irrelevant to your purpose? If the answer is yes, strip or anonymize that data. Ask whether the person has a reasonable expectation of privacy. A public company filing is different from a photo on a personal page shared with friends. Good OSINT reads context, not just access level. Principle 3. Accuracy and replication. Public sources contain errors. Names repeat. Addresses change. Transliteration and aliases muddy the water. Before you share a connection, ask whether it is confirmed by at least 2 independent sources. Keep a log of where each fact came from with timestamps and links or archived copies. Invite replication by describing your method. If a claim relies on a chain of weak links, do not publish, even if the story is compelling. Precision protects people and your reputation. Principle 4. Do no harm. This is not a slogan, it is a practice. Do not post home addresses, phone numbers, or sensitive identifiers for private individuals. Do not name victims of certain crimes without consent. Do not publish children's names or images. Do not out someone's identity. If you are unsure, err on the side of redaction. The internet remembers. Your post may travel beyond your intention and persist for years. Principle 5. Legal posture. Laws vary by country. Data protection, harassment, defamation, and doxing statutes all apply online. Read the rules where you live and where your subject lives. If you publish, you accept responsibility for the accuracy of claims that could harm reputation. Note that truth is a defense in some places but not in others, and that private facts, even if true, can still create liability if disclosure is not in the public interest. When in doubt, seek guidance or narrow your scope. Now, 3 short hypotheticals with safe responses. Hypothetical 1. An amateur sleuth believes a person resembles a suspect sketch in a historic case. They find a name through a reverse image search and are tempted to post it. Safe response. Do not post a name. If you sincerely think the tip could matter, send it privately to the relevant authority with context, dates, links, and why you think it connects. Then stop. Public accusation harms private people and rarely helps investigators. Hypothetical 2. You are building a family tree and discover a possible non-paternity event from the mid-20th century that would surprise living relatives. Safe response. Treat it as sensitive. Do not publish the discovery on a public tree that names living people. If you choose to raise it, do so privately, gently, and with an acknowledgement that records and DNA can be messy. Offer resources for processing unexpected results. Consent first. Curiosity second. Hypothetical 3. A news event happens in your city. You collect social posts and live videos to map who is where. You are tempted to draw conclusions about individuals' motives. Safe response. Publish only what is directly observable and necessary, blur private faces if not central to public interest, and avoid attributing motives without direct statements. If stakes are high, consider handing material to professional reporters with editorial oversight rather than posting yourself. On genealogy specifically, remember that a single relative's public DNA profile can bring attention to a wider family. Platforms that allow law enforcement matching usually require explicit user opt-in and limit use to serious crimes. Read those policies before you upload. If you share a tree online, use initials for living people and restrict details to private mode. Ask relatives for consent before adding their names, photos, or correspondence. Family harmony is worth more than a perfectly complete chart. On OSINT methods, build a clean workflow. Start with a research plan that lists your question, scope, and off-limits areas. Use official registries and primary sources first. Cross-check names with identifiers such as dates of birth, company numbers, parcel IDs, or case numbers. Archive URLs with a reputable service so others can see what you saw. Keep a simple research log with timestamps. When you make a mistake, correct it publicly and quickly. Apologize when appropriate and remove harmful content. Integrity after errors is part of ethical practice. When collaborating, set team norms. No doxing. No nomming private individuals as suspects. Red team your own work. Assign someone to argue for an innocent interpretation. Use checklists before publishing. Relevance, necessity, consent, accuracy, risk. Keep conversations about living people in private notes, not in public threads, until you have clarity and permission. Encourage colleagues to escalate concerns if a line feels close to being crossed. A culture of restraint prevents harm that policies alone cannot. For educators and community moderators, make ethics part of the curriculum. Teach what is legal, what is wise, and what is kind. Offer templates, a model disclosure page for your project, a redaction style guide, and a takedown policy. Reward posts that show method and care. Discourage speculation. Remove content that violates boundaries and explain why. Consistency builds trust. There's also a mental health angle. OSINT on violent or painful events exposes you to disturbing material. Set limits on time and content. Debrief with peers. Use tools to blur graphic images by default. Step away when material affects sleep or mood. Take care of yourself so you do not offload distress onto others through careless posting. Here is a compact checklist you can save. Purpose. Is my aim legitimate and necessary? Scope. Am I using the least intrusive method? Sources. Do I have at least 2 independent confirmations for key facts? Consent. Have I obtained it where appropriate, and have I removed sensitive data about living people? Risk. Have I considered harm if I am wrong if the post goes viral or if it is read out of context? Law. Do I understand relevant rules for data, defamation, and harassment? Review. Has a second set of eyes checked my work? Action. If harm occurs, do I have a plan to correct and notify? We close with a steady principle. Curiosity is good. Skill is good. Care is essential. The best OSINT and genealogy work illuminates systems, supports accountability, and protects people who did not choose public life. Keep your methods transparent, your claims modest, and your empathy switched on. If a sentence could change a private person's day for the worse, consider whether the world truly needs that sentence. Often, it does not. Thank you for spending this season with us. If the series helped you build better habits, slowing down, verifying, asking for consent, we have done our job. In the next season, we will return to long-form specials, using the same ethical guardrails while exploring complicated stories with patience. Until then, stay curious and stay kind. Narration generated with AI, facts verified from public sources. No legal advice is given. The purpose is education and public safety. If you have a case tip or a documented pattern to share, use a safe channel and remove personal information that could identify non-public individuals.